Have you ever just looked at a city and thought, how on earth did that get there? I mean, how does a place seemingly erupt from the desert, transforming from a quiet little village into one of the most famous skylines on the entire planet? Well, that's the incredible story of Dubai. And we're going to dive right into this amazing journey of vision, ambition, and just pure transformation. You know, to really get your head around the scale of this change, just look at this. Not that long ago, Dubai's entire world revolved around the sea. We're talking fishing, building boats, and the incredibly dangerous work of pearl diving. That was it. Fast forward to today, and it's this global powerhouse of trade, a magnet for tourists, and a hub for mind-bending innovation. The difference is just staggering, and it all happened in the blink of an eye, really. So yeah, that brings us to the big question, right? How did this actually happen? How does a tiny coastal town totally dependent on the tides become one of the most futuristic and well-known cities in the world? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's all in a history of visionary leadership and some seriously bold decisions. Okay, so to understand the Dubai of today, we have to rewind way back. Long before the first skyscraper ever broke the horizon, the story starts with a single family. A family whose principles would literally set the stage for everything that was to come. Now, what's so interesting here is how this timeline puts it all in perspective. Sure, people have lived in the area for thousands of years, but the real game changers? Two key dates. First, 1833, when the Al Maktoum family showed up and basically put Dubai on the map. And then 1958, when the man who would become the architect of modern Dubai, Sheikh Rashid, took charge. So, who were the Al Maktoums? Well, they come from the Bani Yas tribe, and you gotta understand, this wasn't just any tribe, it was the power player in the region, a super respected and authoritative federation. So their family name already carried a ton of weight, and that was absolutely crucial for stable leadership. And check this out. From the moment they took over in 1833, their whole approach was just different. They didn't just settle for running a fishing village. Right away, they started making rules to encourage trade. And this is key. They actively welcomed foreigners. That open-minded pro-business attitude, right from the very start, that's basically the DNA of modern Dubai. They were laying the foundation for a global city more than 100 years before it was even built. So, if the Al Maktoum family laid that strong foundation, then you could say Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum was the visionary architect who designed the whole skyscraper. His time as ruler from 1958 to 1990, well, it changed everything. And this is where the story starts to feel like a movie. Sheikh Rashid didn't just dream big. He dreamed on a scale that most people couldn't even imagine. He pushed for these massive projects that pretty much everyone around him thought were completely impossible. I mean, think about it. They had limited money, basically no existing infrastructure, and they were trying to build in a brutal desert climate. But he saw the future. And this list really shows you his genius strategy. He wasn't just building random things. He was building a whole ecosystem for a global city. Al Maktoum Hospital. That gave people modern healthcare. The airport? It opened Dubai to the world by air. Port Rashid and the enormous Jebel Ali port. Bam! Opened to the world by sea. And the World Trade Center? That was like planting a flag and announcing to the world, hey, we're here to do business. But you know, the story of Dubai isn't just about one city building itself up. It's also about building a nation. Sheikh Rashid's vision went way beyond his own borders. He was a central figure in creating the United Arab Emirates. And this whole process took some incredible diplomacy, with Dubai right at the center of it all. It kicked off in 1968 with a historic meeting between Sheikh Rashid and Sheikh Zayed of Abu Dhabi. That single meeting led to a huge conference hosted in Dubai. And then finally, in 1971, 6 of the Emiratis got together in Dubai and officially formed the UAE. That belief in working together was just as important as any airport or seaport. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place in 1972 when Ras Al Khaimah joined in, completing the federation of 7 emirates. And that number, 7, became this powerful symbol of what they had accomplished together, proof of what was possible when they shared a vision for unity. So as we start to wrap this up, let's circle back to that big question we started with. Let's boil it all down to the core ingredients. What is it that truly makes Dubai, Dubai? Here's the bottom line. Dubai's success is absolutely not an accident. It's the result of a very clear recipe. You start with consistent, visionary leadership that's been passed down for generations. Then you add a core belief in being open to trade and to people from all over the world. Mix in some ridiculously ambitious, future-focused projects, and then you bind the whole thing together with a deep commitment to unity. That's the formula.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This city's entire history is built on radical, almost unbelievable change. If it can go from a sleepy, purling village to a global metropolis in a single lifetime, what comes next? What's going to be the next big transformation that defines its future? And that's the question that Dubai is still answering every single day.